Hello, and welcome to another Big Think Mailbag. This time we have the whole crew plus one. We've got Bob from GigaBoots. We've got KZ from KZExcellent.com.
I like mail.
We've got Dr. Agro.
Yep.
I did this out of order, just to keep him on his toes. And Mr.
Yeah, I was confused as shit.
See, you have to be ready. These questions could come in at any angle. And we've also got Mr. Feel from Mr. Feel's Wild Ride.
I like licking envelopes.
That's good.
I bought the kind where I tear off the slip now. I don't need to lick them anymore.
Oh, that's
Oh, that's a shame.
You
I love
bougie
that
piece of
tasty
shit.
cornstarch.
Yeah.
Look at you, fucking rich man, Bob video games.
Generating paper waste.
When the revolution comes, we'll just track you by that.
Okay, let's get to these questions. First question we're going to go with is from Polly Awesome. Since non-gaming questions are appreciated, yes, they are, I was interested in knowing if each member of the podcast has a favorite album by a non-gaming related musical artist, band, or composer. Thanks for the work you put into your shows. Have a great one. Choosing a single album is a nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get a single album from most people here. But
I mean, you know, it's your favorite is always your favorite right this second. So you're just gonna have to pick one for today.
The album that has that giant bomb song they played during every E3.
Lockdown.
Yes, I don't know the name of the album Lockdown came on, but it's in my Amazon Music library because damn, that song rocks.
I hate that because you said in this moment, I'm like, all right, now my brain has to just pick one at random, and now I've got it.
Yeah.
The Sickness from Disturbed.
Okay, sure.
It has Stupefy in it.
It does. Yeah, that's true.
Was that The Sickness? I thought that was 10,000 Fists.
No, 10,000 Fists is the third album from them, I think.
That's like
Okay.
mid-aughts. This was like 99 or 2000.
Yeah, I think The Sickness is...
I wouldn't trust me to know, so.
To know about Disturbed or to know
to be able
time.
to pick out which album.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
You see, I had to remember, of course, because 10,000 Fists was much later, and Stupefy was in early Dragon Ball Z movies.
Yes.
Hell yeah, it was.
It was. It sure was.
You know what? I have the ultimate cheat answer.
What's that?
Can't be about video games, huh? So the Fooly Cooley soundtrack is really good, and it's the ultimate cheat answer because it's basically just the greatest hits of the Pillows.
It's a really good album.
It is. It is a really good album.
You know, I like that one Pokemon anime album, To Be a Master.
Oh my God, no.
No.
It's got a bunch of stuff. Also, the Yu-Gi-Oh!
Just had that
Anime's
in my
album,
car.
Music to Duel By.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry, KZ. That's too
Don't
close
talk
to a
about
video
music
game.
to duel by. I
It's
also
really
owned
good.
that album.
Yeah, sometimes you need just vocal songs of people in character, and that's really good.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a fucking nightmare.
It's really good.
I'm going to give a sincere answer and then move on to literally anyone but me. Music Has the Right to Children by Boards of Canada. That is a regular. I love that fucking album. It's really good. I like their other albums, just not quite as much.
Now, the challenge is, can anyone out-hipster that answer?
Of course not.
Yeah, I know.
I set the bar.
I may have rolled my eyes a little.
It's a really good album. It's a good album to chill and or sleep to.
Things Dan Video Games is known for.
Hey, welcome to Dan Video Games Chill Stream. I'm gonna die at the final boss of Sonic 2 15 fucking times.
And then take some sleeping pills.
And then I'll insist that I took more earlier, and that's why I'm bad at video games.
Got
I only
him.
had 11.
Hey, Bob.
Hey.
If you want, I could just feed you albums to upset people. Say your favorite Gorillaz album is Plastic Beach.
No, thank you.
Okay, well, I tried.
Okay, Bob. I need you to say your favorite album is In the Aeroplane Over the Sea.
I don't even know what that one is.
It's a neutral Milk Hotel album.
Gonna need you to say that you like Going Bananas by the Black Eyed Peas.
I don't though.
Bob, I'm going to need you to say you like X and Y by Coldplay.
My God, this is getting worse. Oh man,
This is a good starting question.
I'm gonna go with the only album I own physically, at least one of the only ones. Elo's Time.
Yeah, this is a good album.
Yeah, it's really good. I'll admit I bought it because I heard it originally in Daikon.
Oh, yeah.
3.
That's true. The Daikon intro has it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has the first 2 songs, like, basically is a music video for him. But then the rest of the whole album's really good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I added that to my Amazon Music library, basically, as soon as I got, Amazon Music. KZ, you went with that Disturbed album, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And then put out 2 more bangers.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you really did.
Yeah, I did.
I heard a thud come from that side of the room a couple times.
That must mean you're deaf. I'm sorry.
Casey's just a backflip and landed on his face.
Please. There's no way I would ever be able to do a backflip or even approach it.
It's not clear what move KZ was attempting to do.
Check this shit out, motherfucker. And then Jack Nicholson falls over the rail into a vat of chemicals.
By himself. What a great film.
It sure is a movie. We're going to move on to Feel.
Okay. First, I have to confess to the only 3 albums I've ever bought.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Actually, no, I bought 4, but I've only bought 3 physical albums. I bought 1 digitally. They are the Death album, the Death Clock album. Music to Duel by when I was like 14.
Oh my God.
God.
Damaged.
And the Lonely Island album when they made an album.
Yes.
Incredibad.
Yeah, was it Incredibad or the one after that? Was it their first album?
It was is the one that had Space Olympics on it.
Yeah, that would be the first. That would be Incredibad.
Yeah, it was Incredibad. I recognize the the album cover. For actual favorite albums, I really like Hang Ups, which is the Goldfinger album that Superman is on.
Yes.
Because I got really into multiple bands through Tony Hawk, which I feel like everybody that was 10 when Tony Hawk came out did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a ska boom in the aughts that was entirely because of Tony Hawk.
Yeah. If I knew the name of that Real Big Fish album that I listened to around that time, I probably would have listed that. But, it helps to not remember that ska's dead. Or was never alive. It depends on your perception of the issue.
Real Big Fish is real good. They did the opening for Rave Master for the US.
They did. They did. Real Big Fish is a very good band.
Yes.
I also really like 1984, the Van Halen album.
Yeah. I listened to the entire album once.
Sip.
I was waiting.
I was like, I don't know. It needs to be AC/DC to really lean into the sip. I'm sorry.
Like, note to self, don't mention how much I love British Steel by Judas Priest.
No, you absolutely talk about Judas Priest. Jesus fucking Christ.
Speaking of AC/DC, I fucking love Back in Black. That's another great album.
Now that's some real music to sip to.
That's damn, son. Where'd you get this sip at? Worth noting coming out with, I have 2 Lonely Island albums. Anyways, we'll move on to Dr. Aggro. Dr. Aggro?
Okay. I'm gonna have to push Judas Priest off this one because
Okay.
While Painkiller is the greatest song ever recorded by mankind,
Yes.
that album isn't better than some of their other albums. So I'm gonna call the whole thing a wash. And right at this moment, I'd probably have to pick The Warp Riders by The Sword.
I actually have not heard that. I think that's possibly the only album dropped here that isn't Yu-Gi-Oh based.
I know you know The Sword. There was a song from their first album that was in Guitar Hero 2.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. I can't remember which song was theirs, but I think it was in the extras.
Yeah, it was down way late on the list. And this is also the part where I think I have to admit in a public forum that my favorite Rush album is probably Roll the Bones, which is a hanging offense in certain Canadian provinces.
That's understandable. Things get contentious.
You don't actually need a Rush album, you just need an all Rush mixtape.
Put it right next to my 2-liter bottle of Shasta.
Yep. Okay, there. You got us to list a bunch of albums while we were, trying to come up with one because Jesus, only one is unreasonable. We must move on, though. Third Energy asks, hey there, conspiring cosmopolitans. What is the most unreasonable amount of money you've ever paid for something you didn't necessarily need but absolutely had to have? Thanks again for all your efforts. I have this feeling every time I buy Taco Bell. I say a bunch of words. I didn't necessarily need it, but I absolutely had to have it because, I've had a shit day and I just want them to give me this food. I finished saying things into the drive-thru speaker and they go, that's $27. And I go, what?
How?
I just wanted you to replace your sand with meat. Is that such an offense? But yeah, I don't know.
This is easy.
Aside from the Taco Bell thing, which is how I feel the strongest, this feeling where I'm just like, did I really need to get all of these things with chicken? Maybe I only order one thing from Taco Bell from this day forth. I'm gonna say the headphones I got. I own HD 800s, which are Sennheiser headphones. They're like reference quality studio headphones. And I got that after several years of running GigaBoots when it stopped hemorrhaging money. And I was still working a job, like outside of GigaBoots, during the not sleep zone. So I was like, I would like to hear that before I die. And now I have heard that. And now I know that every house in Link's Awakening on the Switch has snakes in it, apparently.
Good to know.
Because they all keep hissing at me. I don't fucking... And that's the thing. Headphones like that aren't so you can... It doesn't necessarily make music more enjoyable if you don't like hearing absolutely the way everything's constructed.
Yeah, it's like those really good Blu-rays of old animes. It doesn't make them look better. It just makes it a lot clearer.
Yeah, it is the audio equivalent of that, right? Because when you get that high quality scan of an old anime, you can see like the cells coming apart. You can see the shadow one cell is casting on another, right? It's like that for audio, where you go, man... the Kingdom Hearts 1 theme song by Utada Hikaru is really good, but for some reason there's a high-pitched ringing in the right channel the whole song.
Maybe it's a metaphor.
It could be. Bob, what is the most unreasonable amount of money you've ever paid for something you didn't necessarily need but absolutely had to have? Bob's like, I don't know. Bob's very frugal.
Yeah.
So I feel like this may be hardest for you.
I mean, Bob bought Twinkies and he still hasn't eaten them at the gas station. Like
This is
4
pretty
days.
rough.
Yeah,
I feel like everybody who bought a PS3 at launch should just say that.
It sounds like they
yes,
all
they
had
should.
to have it at the time. Absolutely had to. There was no regret. I don't feel bad at all.
That's true.
But I guess that would probably be the most I've spent on something I did not absolutely need, but I did need it.
That's what a suit would say Bob's most unnecessarily expensive thing is.
Yeah, other than that, it's like I always have that level of regret when I buy a figure or something, like something that truly does nothing. It's like, here's this Dante Nendroid I still haven't built.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Or here's this collector's edition of Ninja Gaiden 3.
Oh.
Wow.
What, he had to?
Yeah, I don't know
No, he
why I felt like I
didn't.
had to. I guess there was the thought of this is it. This is the last one they're making, which kind of was.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I have that.
Yeah, so far it's the last one they made, so right on the money. Yeah, I don't know. I feel that way about every cosmetic sort of thing too.
Yeah.
But it makes me feel doubly like an asshole for spending any amount of money because it's like, look at our set. I should be decorating this shit, but instead it's still sitting in boxes. Like that Tails poster.
Oh, yeah, that's still hanging out somewhere.
Yeah, and I still need to buy a frame for the Isolation 119.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that way I can scare the shit out of everyone who comes to a stream and goes, what is that thing behind you? Oh, that's May Knock. She's going to visit you, so, get really good at chess. You're going to be playing it against Microsoft Sam.
Or maybe just okay at chess. You probably don't need to be that good.
Don't keep tea candles in your house. That's
that's a real West sign.
That's the doorway to darkness right there.
Do not go to Dollar General.
And get 100 pack.
I know that you're in a hurricane area. You might need them for emergency. Find something else.
Find anything else. Make you something.
Get one of those shaking flashlights.
Yes.
Ooh. I want one of those shaking flashlights. That would have helped us when the power got knocked out here for that entire day.
It was scary.
Yes, being in a house with no power at night is scary. Because it's like, oh, it's dark.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm really good at this. I'll just go back to sleep. We'll now move on, Bob. If you have additions, we can get to them later.
Sure, yeah. I can't think of anything right now anyway.
We'll move on to KZ. KZ?
That 55-inch TV, I didn't necessarily need that.
Oh, the OLED?
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily needed it, but I had to have it.
Yeah, but like now that you
having
used
it for almost a year, yes, that actually is not an exorbitant purchase at all. You do need that.
I mean,
you now need it. You can't go back.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. That
I was gonna say, you do all of your gaming on that TV.
Yeah.
You bought 3 chairs in the last 3 months. I feel like one of these chairs could qualify before the TV.
You know what? The first chair I got that I didn't notice had a vibrator in the anus area. I didn't need that one because it was bad. It was bad and it started sinking after 2 weeks.
Yeah, that was a really bad chair.
Yeah, it was.
I'm glad Banny likes it because it now lives on the fucking sunshine room.
Yeah, these other 2 chairs, I did need these.
They're important. Yes.
Yeah.
If we had a slightly wider doorway on your room or hallway, then maybe you wouldn't need 2 chairs for this house, but
it's okay. I got this one on a Labor Day sale, so it ensured I did not spend $1,000 on chairs. Never mind the 3rd chair. I did spend over $1,000 on chairs.
You certainly fucking did. And I watched you do it.
It was funny, though.
Watched and did nothing.
I can't stop him. Have you ever tried to stop KZ from a bad idea? I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, why am I asking that? Aggro talks about your taste in starter Pokemon all the damn time.
I really don't know what's going on with that.
God.
Hey, Aggro, question's coming to you now.
Well, I threw up that PS3 thing because I was thinking about that as the answer, but then I remembered that time I sent you a text roundabout after I'd figured out what was wrong about my original PS5 and that it pretty much worked, but it wasn't going to play higher quality games. It was just going to choke. I remember I texted you, I said, because you were like, do you want me to keep a lookout? And like, do you want to get another one? And I texted you, Dan, I will not be locked out of Ratchet and Clank. So yeah, I'm gonna say my second PS5.
Okay, that checks out. I understand it. Mr. Feel.
So I gave $255 to a Kickstarter that won't be named, so I can get a stuffed animal.
Okay.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yes, I have it right above me, so I can look up every once in a while and be like,
Out of respect for you, you're right.
Dan,
that wasn't a smart decision at all.
Dan leaves his stuffed animals from a Kickstarter that he didn't like at my house.
He does.
Is it fair to call that cube a stuffed animal?
No.
You should bring it back and put it on the mantle so it's impossible to forget. Just always have it in the background forever.
Don't worry, it's the background radiation of my life. From where I'm sitting right now, I can look at both sets of US and Japanese boxes for Mighty Number 9 that I have in my house. One of them is from my friend who also backed that game.
Cool.
Right over there above Mega Man 64's box that a fan once sent us. And they're like, hey, in case you get the cartridge someday. And I'm like, uh-oh. Now I have to buy an insanely expensive N64 game.
Hell yeah.
Oh no. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Usually it's stuff that I actually need, like the OLED or the mattress that was $1,200.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's literally only that Kickstarter where I'm like, okay, I have too much money. Time to be stupid.
Yeah. That's what Kickstarter's for. Mega Man 14 writes in, salutations, masters of the domain of expanded intellect. As someone who spent 7 years in marching band, I'm curious if any of you guys ever tried to learn to play an instrument, and if so, what instrument? Keep up the amazing work. Not in a million years. Bob?
No, I found out I was hopeless for that a long time ago.
KZ?
I was in 7th grade or 6th grade. I was in a band, and at first I was going to learn to play the bassoon because they're like, we need one of those, and they're like, oh wait, we only have one. You can't do that. All right, so I learned to play the clarinet for at least a year.
Oh, okay. Aggro?
I had a very keen interest in learning to play a few instruments when I was younger, and since I saw that it went down in such a way on television constantly, I assumed that at some point the school system was going to just force me to do that, so I never actively sought it out and never did.
Okay. Mr. Feel.
Sounds like the American education system for sure.
I didn't take band, but I took choir.
Okay.
Or chorus, rather.
Yeah.
The teacher was an alcoholic, so they would just put on like a CD that we were supposed to sing to every day for no reason, so nobody did anything, and that was my experience in the American school system with music.
Cool.
Yep.
Raw.
I have been getting interest in learning a musical instrument now, but the problem is time and space. Probably just do synths and shit, so not a real instrument per se.
I gotta say though, that free A really helped my grade point average.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Thanks, music.
Thumbs up.
Thanks, teacher who'd go into like the tiny band office in the room and drink.
Like, I went to a high school that had one of those courses that won competitions all the time, so that was not an option.
The next question is from Just Mild Lilac. Hello, average BTS meal fans and average Fazoli's enjoyers. I'll go ahead and take the bait here. What are your favorite gaming rumors and myths you actually believed growing up? Things like good luck rituals for catching Pokemon, or those expertly hidden fighting game characters that totally exist behind a complex input code. Thanks again for all the amazing content. I still have my fingers crossed for a spoiler cast on those Kino John Wick sequels. Probably not happening, sorry. But the KZ did watch them.
I did.
We got them to.
Yep.
Pretty good shit, huh?
Yeah, it was really good when we went, oh shit, the dude at that hotel is just Zavala in Destiny.
Yep.
And that one dude in Horizon Zero Dawn.
I'm very excited to play Horizon Zero Dawn to be like, oh, it's the dude from John Wick in Destiny. So, okay, my favorite gaming rumor or myth growing up is that the cell processor is a really powerful thing. And God damn it. Devs just need to earn it.
No, my favorite is the digital locker that'll enhance our videos.
What the fuck is the digital locker?
You don't know about the digital locker?
KZ, I am being straightforward when I tell you this. There is no amount of exaggeration. Are you ready?
Yes.
The digital locker is where you're going to upload your videos to, and with the power of the cell processor, Sony servers will make your videos look better over time than they did originally.
Oh, like through upscaling or?
Through machine learning. That's what they were trying to sell us on in 2005.
Man, you really did have to have that thing.
There was no choice.
I'm like, well, I love Excel Saga, and I want it to look even better 10 years from now.
I'm going to upload Excel Saga to my PS3.
Oh, no, the police are here.
What about the 8-way video calls?
Oh, my God. Yeah, they showed off in 2005 a sample image of, like, using your HD IP webcam. You will be able to do a video call with 8 people while playing Gran Turismo.
I mean, at a certain point, it's like what's the biggest gaming myth you believed? The year 2005.
Aside from that, you know, you have your normal shit like, you know, Pokemon tricks and shit like that. But yeah, man, Sony sure spun up some real bullshit in 2005, and that was highly mirrored by Xbox doing the same thing at the beginning of the Xbox One with the cloud. And I'm repeating this because nobody fucking remembers this. Microsoft promised you would get 3 times the performance of Xbox One in the cloud, loaned to your Xbox, processed remotely.
Yep.
And that would make up the performance gap between consoles.
The infinite power of the cloud.
Yep. And every fucking game journal was like those goddamn little green things in Toy Story, just like the cloud.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I'm like, wait, if the power of the cloud's infinite, why do I only get 3 Xboxes and then they leave? But yeah, those are all of my answers, Bob. Some of those were yours. Do you want me to move on to someone else?
I can do a few at least. I mean,
okay, go ahead.
I definitely believe that Pokemon truck thing.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. No doubt.
Only the most jaded human wouldn't believe that Pokemon truck thing.
There's some others in the back of my head, but you can move on. I can't tear them out right now.
KZ.
All right, so after I figured out how to get the bonus ending in Kingdom Hearts 1, people at school said, yeah, every game has something like that. So I just started trying to 100% things. And then I fell into that hole of people just posting fake shit, like this Dragon Ball Z fighting game that goes up to sell has Majin Buu as a secret character. You just have to do this thing. You have to go through this cup like 4 times. Jesus. And you'll be able to unlock it. Yeah, so stuff like that. Most of it just coming from people faking things in cheat websites.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, that
cheat
is
code central was hell.
Yeah, it was
just a portal straight there.
Demons.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I remember one that really got me back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Those early screenshots for Zelda that had alternate assets were not in that game for Ocarina of Time.
Like the Triforce just sitting on a pedestal.
Yeah, the Triforce sitting on a pedestal. Other things like that. The alternate goddess or fairy.
Goddess altar?
Yes. All that stuff. I was convinced it was in the game, and I was tearing through, literally doing anything I could think of to find it.
Yeah.
It's like Game Genie, so I can get infinite hover boots and walk everywhere.
I remember that. Where you're just like, you can wear these hover boots and with the Game Shark just walk around to the backside of the castle.
Yes.
It'll be back there this time.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. That's where they hit it. That's the Triforce right there.
I like the secret ending in The Bouncer, which teases the Bouncer too. Hey, Mr. Field, do you have an answer?
So I am going to hold up an A when I catch a Pokemon until the day I die.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no getting that out of my system. It's been too long. I thought shiny Pokemon had better stats for a really long time because somebody told me once.
Second gen they did.
Yeah, that's where it came from. I'm like, what do you mean they don't have better stats? Then why do people have 3 Game Boys open, breeding on all 3 simultaneously?
Because it's a different shade of green.
Yes.
No, surely they're not just insane. Surely there's a mechanical advantage to it being a slightly different color. And then I found out, no, that actually hasn't been true.
Oh, there's this.
I'm like, oh,
there's a strategic advantage. I'm even more smug when I win.
I got really into how to revive Aerith in Final Fantasy VII because they did that thing. And I don't know how well known this is anymore. And I don't even know if this is deliberate or not on Square Enix or on Square's part. I assume it is not because it doesn't do anything. But if you go back to the church on disc 3, which you can do if you do like a side quest to get a key to let you back into Midgar.
Yeah, because
if you go to the church, there's a ghost of Aerith there, and if you step anywhere further than the doorway, it just instantly disappears.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh man, there surely must be something there, and it's like, no, of course not.
Yep, that shit was cruel.
Yeah, since you're talking about Final Fantasy VII, did you get into the rumors about the 144 scale soldier?
Yes, because there's an item called 144 scale soldier, and it's supposed to be like a figure of a Shinra guy, but it doesn't do anything.
Right.
So there became the conspiracy theories of what does it do?
Yeah, I remember
it must have some sort of use.
One of the major ones was you get 44 of them, then you do this side quest that appears, and then you get the Muramasa.
I love that shit so much.
A thing sort of like that for Legend of Dragoon, because a party member dies in Legend of Dragoon, but it like combines it with the 44 soldier thing, because there's a portrait of them you can get from a painter, that specific character, that does nothing. So people went crazy. It's like, no, it must do something. It must be the secret for reviving this character. It has to be the secret. And of course, it's nothing. I think that's it. I think once the internet really caught on, once high-speed internet, or what we considered high-speed internet in 2003, 2002, caught on, most of that stuff went away.
Yeah. Dr. Agro?
I didn't have a lot of friends that played video games growing up, or at all, so I didn't catch a lot of these. But I do remember hearing a rumor about the sequel to Ocarina of Time being called The Legend of Zelda Gaiden, and in it, you had 2 Master Swords. I also remember hearing this rumor that there was going to be a new console called the Intellivision. But, I mean, it seems to me that that's completely baseless and is never going to happen.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, in World of Warcraft, I never actually officially did the thing that let you get an Ashbringer.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a bunch of random shit in my head about how to get an Ashbringer, and I don't know
me
which
too.
ones
I forgot
are
about
correct.
Ashbringer.
Yeah, because the Ashbringer, it was a lot like the old Mew things. There were a bunch of theories, long, complex side quests you had to do specifically, and you'd go to this fucking cart and you could get the Ashbringer.
Yeah, the Ashbringer's a really important lore sword that they put in the game's files, but you couldn't get it anywhere. So that became a wild goose chase for a long time, until the expansion where they just said everyone gets one. Literally every single person who plays the game. You just get it.
I remember once hearing a baseless rumor that the Dreamcast was thinking, but that didn't make any sense because the PS2 had the emotion engine.
Well, that's because of PS2's feeling, so of course it doesn't think.
Oh,
I will shout out Star Ocean 2, which had a bunch of those rumors, and all of them were literally true because that game is unhinged.
Yeah, no, that's fair. You know what? We've got aggro here. We will go ahead and go through this. Emrelius sends in a question. Do any of you have a favorite historical event? For example, I enjoyed the story of Hannibal crossing the Alps in the Second Punic War. Pretty wild stuff for ancient warfare. My stuff's all boring. It's all tech-based. It involves jack attacks. Hey, Dr. Agro, do you have any answers?
I've got a few for this.
I got a whole YouTube channel full of thoughts, basically.
All right, I'm going to let you guys pick. I could either do The Siege of Elysia or my favorite story about Peter Bartholomew.
I'm going to do Siege. Bob? We're voting.
Siege, sure.
KZ?
Yes.
No, okay.
Okay, so Julius Caesar, as he does, is having problems with those no good, filthy German barbarians. And a guy named Vercingetorix, who, if anybody out there actually reads the old Asterix and Obelix comics, is going to recognize. He gets this whole Gallic army up, and they get their asses kicked, and they retreat to a city called Lysia. So Julius Caesar shows up and he besieges the city, and Vercingetorix is like, yes, so I'll withstand this siege, and I'll wait for other people to come. What the fuck are they doing out there? When a lot of people besiege a city, like in the Middle Ages, they'll just sit an army around it and wait. The Romans build fortifications around the city. So now, fuck your walls, you're inside of our walls now. Fuck you. And that goes really badly for a while until like a second Gallic army, like he actually gets a messenger out and he raises another army and they start coming and they're like, oh god, Julius Caesar, this giant Gallic army is coming to raise the siege. What do we do? And Julius Caesar just looks at him and he's like, the fuck do you mean? What do we do? We're the Romans. Build another wall. So they build a second wall around their first wall. So now they have this donut-shaped fort around the city. Where they're fighting off the Gallic army coming in from the outside. Vercingetorix is inside going, what the shit is this? They actually, there's a weakness in the outer wall that draws the Gallic army in, and they start flooding in between the two walls, and Julius Caesar's like, all right, fuck it, I'm immortal, and he just charges into that choke point, slaughters the entire Gallic army, and Vercingetorix is like, if I give up, do I get to live? And he's like, I mean, I'm going to take you to Rome and then parade you around naked and we'll strangle you, but yeah. That's the best deal I'm going to get, isn't it? Yeah, you better get on my fucking cart. And that's one of the many reasons nobody fucked with Julius Caesar. I mean, until that time, 30 of his friends stabbed him. But that's
nobody talks about that, right?
Wow, took 30 of you to kill me.
Thank you for story time, Aggro.
Anytime.
Fun fact, Aggro was going to do Drunk History for a while on YouTube, and then many years into we should have Aggro do that, some YouTube channel started doing Drunk History. I honestly, Drunk History is just called being Aggro's roommate. Bob, do you have anything?
I really don't. Most of what I know is sadly from games. It's like, okay, this got me interested in the Three Kingdoms of China from Dynasty Warriors and all the Sengoku stuff.
I mean, the Lu Bu stories are really good.
They are really good.
What a fucking dipshit.
He locks himself in there, and so they fill the livers with alcohol, and he gets real drunk.
And then he just walks out.
I love all those stories because it's like 50-50 whether they're true, and you never get it right which ones are.
Yeah, because everyone is just unhinged enough that they could make up literally anything and be like, yeah, sure, that happened. Yeah, then his daughter shows up, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Why the fuck wouldn't that be the case?
That they do a literal sitcom situation. He gets slapped in the face and then walks out and gets stabbed to death.
He basically opens the front doors to this fort and he goes, "You idiot! What use of my car without my keys?" and then gets stabbed to death. I'm gonna double back around to clarifying and emphasizing. Basically, every story about Jack Tramiel from Commodore is really, really fascinating. He's like the good guy version of Steve Jobs, except for actually responsible for the things that he's credited for. And he's blatantly regarded by everyone as a total fucking asshole. That's what makes Jack Tramiel great. If you ever get bored, I believe 8-Bit Guy has a number of, well, his are more technical and about the systems themselves. But just look up Commodore documentaries. There are some on YouTube. They're really good. Very fascinating stuff. Hilarious. And really good history. I enjoy that. When it comes to tech history, I think Jack Tramiel is like one of the most fascinating things from a modern standpoint, because all sorts of stuff that seems really alien to now was at the center of what was going on with him and, their business. For example, some of the people on the podcast may be able to understand this, but there was a point where, home computers absolutely were not a market. And the main market for that sort of tech company was calculators.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Texas Instruments got established the way they were back then. And still are somehow still around making the same fucking product for way too much money. But yeah, just look up any documentary about that. You won't regret it. It's a really, really fascinating read, listen, and etc. So many great stories come out of that. KZ, do you have any history bits that are your favorite?
No.
Okay. Mr. Feel?
Yes. I have another siege story.
Ooh.
The Siege of Tyre.
Ooh.
Where Alexander the Great is sieging the city of Tyre, which is a walled city on an island. And he's like, what the fuck do we do? It's on an island, it has walls. and Alexander the Great goes, we're building a peninsula. So he built a 200-foot wide, mile-long peninsula. And as the Tyrians basically shit themselves in their city, like, what the fuck? He's not allowed to do that. What the fuck do you mean he's just building a bridge of earth to the city? That's fucking bullshit. And then he slaughtered all of them and sold 30,000 of them into slavery.
Fun story.
What a great story, Phil.
Another one I love is the Boston molasses disaster.
What?
Yeah.
Which on January 15th, 1919, a storage tank filled with 2.5 million gallons of molasses burst. And like a huge chunk of the city flooded with molasses.
Yeah, no, that's a real thing.
Wow.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
What one has to wonder if that inspired like all of those blob type movies from early sci-fi horror,
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Ugh.
because it's just the slow crawling mass consuming the city.
After it happened, there were some victims they could never identify because they were literally glazed.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. No, that shit's unreal.
And people say you can still smell molasses on hot summer days in those areas because it never totally went away.
Holy
Yeah,
shit!
yeah, I'm sure you can never get that out. Good lord.
Also, every single thing involving the Foundation and doing business of id Software, read Masters of Doom,
Yes.
because there's so much insane shit in Masters of Doom. Where I'll just tell where John Carmack went to juvie because John Carmack is not normal.
Yes.
So when a judge asked him if he'd do it again, he said, well, yeah, but I wouldn't get caught that time. And the judge didn't think that was funny and sent him to juvenile hall.
Was that the one where he just got thermite?
Yeah, he made thermite in the school chemistry lab so he could burn open a door and steal a computer. Because this was like this was in the 70s, so computers were not exactly, something a person had.
Yeah. No.
It's like, yeah, but I want one.
There's like a couple computers for an entire campus if you're lucky. I actually found out recently via the post-mortem for Oregon Trail, that the original version of Oregon Trail, the schools, like normal schools, not colleges, but normal schools had just terminals that would dial into the main computer owned by the state.
Whoa.
Yeah. So they would basically, each school would get like a timeshare on this server mainframe thing. And the thin clients, which were not thin at all back then, at the schools would dial in. So they were doing text adventure Oregon Trail like that at all of these schools. It was
Nice.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Really fascinating stuff. That's also a really good read. But yeah, I feel like if I didn't have like such a fascination for the Jack Tramiel stuff, the Masters of Doom, like that absolutely would be it instead. I would say there are some cool stories about Apple, but no. they're all. And then Steve Jobs was the brilliantest man ever.
And he's Ashton Kutcher now.
Did that Yes.
Did that movie do good?
No.
Yeah, I assumed not, but I watched
they
it.
made it. They made it directly in response to the Facebook one, right? Like obviously that led into it, or were they unrelated?
If I remember the
that
timeline,
seems like the kind.
If I remember the timeline, The Social Network comes out, Steve Jobs dies, and then they make that movie. So it wasn't necessarily in response to The Social Network.
Didn't they?
What's
they
up?
They made 2 Steve Jobs movies.
They did, and I've seen both.
Parallel.
And they're both bad for different reasons.
Yeah,
Wait, they made 2?
Yeah. The first one was Ashton Kutcher. The second one was Magneto from X-Men First Class. He did an amazing job. Too bad the script doesn't really have a point on it.
More like amazing jobs.
Okay.
I'm killing it today.
But yeah, with the second movie, it's, he does he portrays Steve Jobs well. But the thing, it makes for an interesting play. It's not a very good documentary sort of thing. It's too far fucking removed.
I'm waiting for the Wozniak movie.
Yeah, that would be neat. That'd be neat. People are like, why did I watch a movie that's just about how this guy keeps getting exploited? It's like, well, you bought the product, so you might as well watch the movie.
Dan, I've reached a new level of damage just now. He said Wozniak movie, and I'm like, they're gonna make a Scott the Woz movie?
That's also where I went.
Damn it.
God.
Oh,
That's
no.
depressing.
This is how bad this has got for this man.
This is how short end of the sticks Woz got in all of this.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I did remember that series that Kyle Bosman did, Bosman v. Wozniak, where he kept trying to beat Wozniak's Tetris score,
Yes.
which he never did.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Also, I think you spoiled 10 million hours of streams.
Oh no! I'm only guessing because he stopped, so I'm not even 100% sure. I'm just like, Bosman's a dipshit. There's no way that worked.
I mean, if you beat it, then you would also end the stream. So who knows?
Oh shit.
This question is always an insanely hard one to deal with, just because it's never this clean cut, but we're going to try to do it. I'm going to try. Ian Buffalo writes in, what's an average day in the life of fine podcasters such as yourself?
Okay, Dan.
There's no thank you or anything at the end of this. Never mind, we're not answering.
I cut those out because their name is at the top.
Cut out them saying thank you?
Well, yeah, because if they're like, grace and good wishes, comma, their name, I cut that out and put their name at the top.
I didn't know that. Everyone who writes it is like, why do they always cut off the end?
Yes, I also correct typos and fix things.
Oh, no, don't correct the typos. Just leave it.
Don't cut this out.
that adds spice.
Of course not cut this out. They're asking about the secrets behind the veil.
That's true. This is our average day right here, right now. I'm going to assume it said something like, thank you, really smart guys, Ian Buffalo. Well, thank you, Ian, for writing in.
I'm gonna fucking die.
Can we get some keyboard clicks? Thank you.
I deleted the question.
I have boxing gloves on.
Average day in life, no such fucking thing. Thursday, I will describe real quick for me, and this largely covers KZ and Bob's Thursday as well. I wake up 40 to 50 minutes before when we're supposed to be in the Discord voice call. I take a shower and maybe I have enough time to eat. Probably not. We get the mic set up in the living room, and we jump in. We spend most of the time 50 fucking minutes bullshitting in this voice call as we just ask questions. We generally get everyone up to speed. We try to figure out what's going on with each other. We just bullshit. Then at the end of that, we'll hit record. We'll do our first podcast. We always do the variety one first. There was a time we did Big Think first, and that felt pretty good.
Yeah, I know. It made me like Big Think.
Yeah, I was like,
That's so long ago, I don't even remember it.
That was Big Thinks 1 through 10.
oh no, we did it one time this year.
Yeah, we did. That one time, I'm like, we should just do that forever.
Yeah.
This is great vibes.
Yeah, it was pretty good. The complicated thing about that, and the reason why it's harder to do, we have Aggro come on for variety podcasts. If we do the variety after Big Think, it's easier to be like, if we don't do that, the way we do it now, we do variety first. It's easier to be like, hey, Aggro, we're going to jump in this fucking voice channel, pretend we're going to be recording anywhere near 4. Join us in that voice channel and we'll record this variety podcast. If we do Big Think first, we don't fucking know. Some big things are small. Other ones are massive. It just depends on how the news is that week. Anyways, so we record that variety podcast. Then we take a break. During the break, I have to gather up Podlords. KZ's figuring out food. Maybe Bob's figuring out food. Maybe I'm figuring out food.
Bob's like, I want to sit in a line for 45 minutes for Wendy's.
For Wendy's COVID fries.
They won't even sell them to me anymore.
Who knows?
No, there's a chance.
Yeah, maybe they're back. We don't know.
We don't know.
So that all takes about, I would say, an hour. You two would agree that's about how long that takes, right?
Yeah, maybe a little more, but yeah, they're about
hour 10, something.
Something like that. So I got all the Podlord images rounded up, the ones we're going to post in. I've got everything set aside for Big Think, and then we hit record. Hopefully before I hit record for Big Think, I have checked the fucking news document to see if we missed anything, but very, very numerous times we'll just get to news and I'll go, here are 3 things I forgot to write in. Because that happens every fucking week. We do Big Think. We stop recording. Our bodies are exhausted. There's no way this will never not be the case, it turns out. We thought at some point, recording podcasts for hours on end in a single day would not leave us exhausted. But as it turns out, being energetic in audio is still just being energetic, you know? So we finished that. We're done. I have to do what is probably an hour of audio processing nowadays, where I throw like the recording files into a thing to split up each channel, and then I'm doing all these plugins to each. But at the end of the day, editing is way easier nowadays, so that's why we do it that way. It's also easier to fix certain types of problems this way. And then at the end of that, I can finally throw a Big Think on a fucking USB if I can get it all done the night of, and hand it off to KZ. Then we just bullshit for a few hours.
Usually marathon a movie.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The usual thing is one of us has the idea of, we should watch 4 movies in a row right now.
That did happen. I think it was 3 because it was every Nolan film. Or no, it was 2 Nolan films. What is the largest we've ever done?
I think the largest we ever did was the Ava one, where it's like, okay, all of them.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
Yeah, but there have been plenty of times that we bullshit enough that our movie binge ends, and it's like 8.
Yeah, that's happened a couple times.
It feels like it's happened like 6 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we sleep for a few hours and come back to the live stream.
Do the live stream, yeah. It's very smart that our 2 biggest days of the week for me and Bob are back to fucking back, and both of them take a huge chunk of the day to accomplish.
Yes.
It's very smart, actually. I definitely don't spend the rest of the week spinning out on a sleep schedule and everything else scale. Yeah, there's no, outside of recording days, there is no average day for me. There's, like, I can't even portray what that is. I wake up at various different times of day. I can't even give you a vague estimate of that. Earlier this week, I was waking up at 7 p.m. consistently because of giant streams inevitably just fucking me up enough where that was normal. But yeah, aside from that, it's just housekeeping to make sure everything's not on fire. Hopefully we have food so we don't have to Grubhub KFC famous bowls while working on content.
Yum.
There's no set day that I edit podcasts. Sometimes it'll be like I'll edit 3 weeks worth in advance on a Sunday, like where I'm free. Or if we're doing a bunch of death streams, I'll end up doing it the day before, or certain things like that. You know, it's all over the place. None of that's really predictable. Yeah, I've answered this question about as well as I feel like I can. Phil, cool. Do you want to tell us your experience or?
Okay. Here's my average day when we don't record. I wake up at like 9 a.m. Sometimes it's a little bit earlier, sometimes it's a little bit later. Then I go to work almost immediately. I got very used to being at work 15 minutes after I wake up at some point in my life.
Yeah.
Then I work for like until I'm done, because usually I'll be like, today I will do this, and I just do that until I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go to the gym. And then I come back and mostly stare at a wall. Because I have executive dysfunction. Sometimes I manage to actually start a game or a television program or a movie, but that takes a lot of effort because I have executive dysfunction.
Yeah, that's understandable.
On Thursdays, though, I work a lot less and then go to the gym before we record, and then I'm locked in the chamber for 10 hours.
Yes.
Yeah. See, my parallel to the executive dysfunction. What is the exact terming?
Executive dysfunction is the term I use.
Okay. My parallel to that is sometimes I wake up and I go, not today. I just stay in fucking bed for 3 more hours. And then when I finally get out of bed, I'm like, I'm such a piece of trash. I have to binge working on shit now to catch up. That was yesterday.
Yeah, I try to keep a relatively normal schedule, or else my life falls apart.
There's not a problem for me.
And also it's really bad. Also, it's really bad for my diet.
Oh yeah.
In general.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm like, if I stay up like 5 minutes too long, it's like, okay, time to eat a meal. So I have the time down pretty well. It's like time to go to bed right now.
Yeah. That can get really, really complicated. Trying to work really hard on shit and stay up 21 hours while also not eating way too goddamn much is really complicated. So I could see exactly why that is. Yeah, I feel like to some extent it was nice knowing. It was nice. This is going to sound fucking bougie and disjointed, but understand this is coming from a place of severe disorder within me, mentally, emotionally, whatever. It provided a nice cornerstone to have on a regular occurrence the fear of God in me that if I didn't get up and get my ass to a different location to do a job, I would starve to death. That I would be fired and have no money to buy a thing. I think the number one benefit of having a GigaBoots office would be that I would have to get up and get there by a certain time. And thus, I wouldn't be able to dive into a depressive fugue state. But admittedly, that wouldn't happen as much probably if I didn't stream for 19 hours straight. I don't know. I don't know. Very complicated. We'll never know the answer to these questions. We should never investigate them. You trust?
Some things just can't be changed.
It can't be changed. The system works. Don't break it.
It obviously doesn't, but we can't do anything about it.
Exactly.
God, now I'm remembering my insane schedule that was working full-time plus at GameStop and doing this.
Yeah.
We can't start Big Thing until Bob gets off at 10:30 p.m.
Luckily, eventually I got it, so I always on Thursdays got the first shift, so I got up at like 5.
But then you're still up.
Oh yeah,
till insane o'clock.
Yeah, because I typically get 3 hours of sleep before work on that Thursday morning. I go do the 8 hours work, which is the half-hour drive there and half-hour drive back. And I immediately start podcasting after that.
Yeah.
And then by like 11 or something, we're done.
Yeah.
Thursdays were really rough.
Yeah.
And that was only one piece of that week.
And then it's time for the Friday live stream.
Yeah, then it's time for the Friday live stream after another 4 hours of sleep.
You're like, it's time for Mega Man Maker Live.
Yes.
There was a really long time where I also worked morning shifts on the Friday live stream days.
Yeah.
That was a real trip. I'm like, hey, I can work these hours. And so because of the place I worked at was Publix, they were like, oh, well, the only thing we can fit there is like a cleaning shift. So every Friday morning began with a cleaning shift, which is gross as hell. Then I would go home, take a shower, and then go to Bob's to do Mega Man Maker. But the story Bob just told of how that worked out is why every time somebody's like, what do you mean you only slept an hour and a half or 2.5 hours, Dan? I'm like, it's not a problem. Bob's the one you should be worried about. Because I could sleep, right? Having a reason that Bob would lose sleep happening constantly is terrible because he's already an insomniac, right? So the thought of like, yeah, he literally needs to wake up insanely early, do all of this podcasting, and then the next day go into streaming is just Yeah, it was ridiculous. I am shocked, honestly, that we were able to do Friday live streams every single week for this many years.
Yeah, no, that was a large concerted effort for sure. Oh my God. And then weeks where we do like, well, we need to do recording on Saturday too. So then it's the Friday live stream. Then I go back to work late on Saturday. Work until 10, come back, and then we do a Curse content recording till midnight.
And Sunday Death Strain time.
It was pretty dire.
Time for banjo on Sunday.
Yeah! Don't remind me of when I took my vacation days to play banjo over the course of a week.
Yeah, like a lot of people probably don't remember August was Bob's vacation pay.
Yeah.
It was like, here you go, Bob. You get to take a vacation by playing all these banjo games.
Hell yeah!
It helped me to not die.
How great!
That's what a great vacation you get to live.
Yes.
Aggro, do you even want to approach this question?
I mean, on days when I'm not like that aren't Thursday, I get up and I go to work and I come home and I fuck around and I go to bed. Such is modern life. We're all in hell.
Yeah.
On Thursdays, I get up and I head a town over to visit my grandma and do a few chores and maybe watch a show with her. And then I come back here and maybe do a variety podcast. And then when the variety podcast wraps up, I get to do a magical thing. I get to literally say "smell you chumps" later as they march on into Big Thing, recording through the night.
Yes, you hit the escape pod.
Right? I just pull the lever and my chair slams upward at 3 Gs with the power of rocket propellant. I go watch a fucking cartoon and have a great fucking night.
Wow, that's cool. I did appreciate because you went on the Vox Off show and I was watching, and in the middle of the Vox Off show, they're like, "So how is it that you ended up blah 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 blah?" Like, I don't remember the exact question that was asked, but you talk about, the great thing about being a content parasite, I think is the way you phrased it.
Yup.
Is you show up, and while these chumps are working out technical problems and workflow issues and editing the bullshit, you just get to show up and say words and then get out. I'm like, damn, that's enviable.
On Thursdays, most of the time, today I actually got things done. I was up in the morning, but usually I'll wake up. This is 2 hours before we start. All is quiet. All is peaceful. I wait around. I get a shower. I get ready. Then we're about 30 minutes until it's time. And I hear Dan's alarm. And then I hear Dan's alarm probably 8 more times. Bob will arrive and he's like, "Is Dan awake?" And then we'll just hear the alarm. And then we'll go about our day. When it's not a recording day, I'm just trying to figure out my own content. So I have to work on other things, do that. I oscillate between being on Dan's sleeping schedule and not, which is really funny. Like this time where I woke up and you were streaming. I went and had a bowl of Raisin Bran. I come back out. It's dark in the entire house.
Yeah.
You schmooved on out.
Yeah. Today was one of those days where it's like, if I'm lucky, I get 5 hours of sleep before podcasts because I stayed up too late streaming. At least it was because of streaming, right? The real bad days, the truly bad days, are when it's Thursday's podcast isn't edited yet.
Yeah, that's a real nightmare.
I feel like that's most weeks.
It happened a lot before. I think since moving in here, it got a little bit better. Sometimes I'll put it together at 2 a.m., but there haven't been many cases where it's like, it's 10 a.m. and the podcast isn't done. That has happened before. God, that sucks. Knowing you can't go to sleep because it's not going to edit itself, You can't go to sleep. You have to stay up and finish it before you can sleep to wake up to record podcasts. I think one of the roughest days this year, or at least in the last 3 months, has been, unfortunately, the No more Heroes 3 gamer premonitions when we had Thor and Gil guest host. I think I got 2 hours of sleep that day or something. So I'm just fried. And luckily, I can edit me being a bad host out of it. But I can't make the actual things I said sound at all cogent or smarter. So luckily, it came out okay. But like part of me was like, yeah, I should apologize to Thor after this. I sound like a guy who's never done this before. I'm gonna say we're gonna take one more question.
Yeah,
this is gonna be a quick one for me. I'm interested in other people's answers, though. This is coming in from Waffle Taco. Dear GigaBrain time travelers, you are allowed to go back in time and change one event in human history and return to the future with your changed event retroactively applied. There are no limits on what you can do, only that you can change one event. What do you change and why? Thanks, Waffle Taco. I don't have enough hubris to assume anything I change would make my life better, and I'm generally pessimistic, so I'm too afraid. Hey, Bob.
This one's really easy. Really easy. It'll highly affect my life and everyone else's.
Okay.
I go back and I buy Bitcoin the very first time I hear about it. I buy so much. I buy as much as I can muster. Which
Yeah,
would
that's
probably
fair.
be like $500 to $1,000. And I'd be a billionaire.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I could do anything.
That's true.
I don't know about the greater good, but
But I'm a billionaire now,
it was
so
like, I could probably achieve something.
probably. It would be nice to have one rich person who's not evil, so that'd be a neat trick. But Bob, think about all those people who lost billions of dollars because of you. Ignore the fact that in this system, that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I was like, who?
The people who bought Bitcoin off of you, you're supposed to feel bad for them? I don't understand.
The guys who literally his whole idea was they would sell it?
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, not a clue. Yeah, I was avoiding answers like that because, of course, it's always that. It's always the Bitcoin thing.
That's always what it's going to be.
It's always going to be that.
Yeah, I think it came out on I guess it wasn't on a podcast. It was just in a live stream of like, yeah, I can't watch these animes they keep making now about going back to 2005 to relive your high school life. It's like, dude, these problems aren't real. You can fix this.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to LARP as teenage me. That sounds really painful.
I could do it.
I didn't like it the first time. I don't care that I can now speed run the bad game.
KZ, do you have an answer?
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back 8 or 9 years and save the Xbox brand.
Whoa.
Impossible.
Do
There's
it.
no one change you can make, KZ.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do whatever's possible. I'm gonna hit the do the correct choices button
Cool.
right from the fucking source. None of this TV shit.
You know, KZ, I have constantly had a thought very similar to this, but it wasn't about Xbox. You know what it was, though?
The cell.
No. I constantly sit there and go, if I had a time machine and rolled 100 level charisma checks the whole way, I'd go back and make sure the Super NES didn't have a piece of shit CPU in it. It sure would be cool if Super Mario RPG wasn't $80 when it came out or some shit.
You know, I was thinking about it. I'm like, what's a Dan answer? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he stops the Killzone 2 trailer from happening.
No, that shit's funny, and that adds texture and tapestry to the game industry. The Super NES not having a potato CPU meant Gradius could run correctly on it, and not every game would have to come with this special add-on chip so they could run well at all. For people who don't know, the reason the Super NES has a potato CPU, it was supposed to be back compat at first. They couldn't get it working, though. So now the Super NES is just a GPU and sound powerhouse with a CPU that's just garbage, which is why there are so many like RPG games and not shoot 'em ups on the SNES, because it can't manage that many objects on screen. It would be fantastic. The Super NES would have been like even more amazing if it just didn't have a CPU that was absolute trash and games that were even more expensive than they needed to be because they had a CPU on the fucking cartridge. Hey, Aggro. I bet you have an answer.
Well, I mean, the problem with this question is that until you can completely solve ethics, any answer you give is going to be suboptimally virtuous and therefore mark you out as evil.
Yeah.
Okay.
And since it's specifically, this bastard specifically limited it to human history, you have to give a suboptimal answer. So, if I can't like Bentham and John Stuart Mill style maximize happiness, I'm going to do this one for me. I'm going to go to the 1790s. I'm going to learn French. I'm going to get in on those meetings with fucking Robespierre. I'm going to smack the shit out that little lawyer twink. And me and Georges Danton are going to run this goddamn revolution right.
It's an Edgar answer for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. We now go to Mr. Field. Mr. Field, you can't say Bitcoin.
Okay. I go back in time and prevent the foundation of the FBI and CIA.
That is the ultimate feel answer.
Damn it. That is, I had like a few answers I was straying away from, and I'm like, I can't say go back and uninvent capitalism. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Doable.
What if you could only get rid of the FBI or the CIA? You can't do both because that's two changes.
Bob, you said that in the tone of the opening to Sliders.
Yeah. Also, they're the same thing.
I know.
But if I had to pick one, it would be the CIA.
Okay, that's good to know.
My dumbass would be kicking around in the 30s like, I'm looking for the head of the NID. And everybody's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I like that we got through this whole segment and didn't talk about any events that happened 2 years ago that have drastically reshaped the last year and a half of our lives. Anyways, we're going to call it for this big, thick mailbag, which has all the correct answers we promise. Thank you very much for sending in your questions. We'll have to do this again sometime before the end of time.
Goodbye.
This month's GigaBoots executive producers are Esme, E. Lee Broyles, Starfalcon, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, Dobo Muito Real, Ace Gundam Pilot Adam Admar, Cooper Tank, Zilter, and Virmvarn. Thank you very much to our executive producers. And also these gamers. If you want to be a gamer or ascend to God Kinghood, then head on over to patreon.com/gigaboots today.